Welcome to what is hopefully the first of a number of videocasts that are dedicated to preserving some of the history of Armageddon MUD, which is still going strong and will continue to go strong. I am Sanvean on the game. My name is Rambo in real life. I'm one of the three overlords on the game. That's the top level of staff, and it's the three people who basically fund a lot of the game and who generally shape the overall policy. And the three of us are all good friends, and we do a lot of communicating back and forth, and generally try to make sure that we're on the same page, that we're coordinating efforts, and that we're doing what's best for the game on various occasions. I'm hoping that other people will feel interested in creating their own videocasts over the course of time, and that we can create an archive, perhaps, of stories. I know that people have a lot of stories of the game. They have stories about what their characters have done on the game. They have stories about how they have affected the game, either through a character or through their own efforts. And a lot of people have stories about how the game has affected them. And the game has been around since about 1991. It was originally built, it was a Daiku MUD, and right now that the code is Daiku, heavily modified, and then the next version of the game is written in Java. So as I said, I'm hoping that other people will be interested in recording their own, and I'm hoping that people will have ideas for videocasts. I'm hoping that you have stories that you would like to have told, that you have questions that you would like to have answered, that you have information perhaps that you've always wondered. And if you want to mail those to me at Sanvean, S-A-N-V-E-A-N, at armageddon.org, I will take a look and see if they are something that I think should be answered. If you're interested in recording one of those videocasts, if you would like a link to it up on the main page, then shoot me the URL and let me look it over so I can sort of pronounce official benediction and say, yes, this is a sanctioned Armageddon history, as opposed to illicit, secret Armageddon history. I'm sure there will be some of that as well. My husband came home the other day when I was thinking about making these, and he said, oh my God, it is so self-indulgent. But the problem is that whenever I go to a player meeting or whenever I go to a staff meeting, there are a lot of stories that people want to hear told, and we all stand around telling story after story after story, and it's a lot of fun. So I'd like to preserve some of those, and certainly if in the course of this project I can learn some of the stories that I haven't heard about before, I would be perfectly happy. I plan to keep these videocasts to about 8 to 10 minutes. Each one will be devoted to a specific topic. This is obviously the introductory one. I am perfectly open to catchy titles for the series. If you have one, email it to me as well. Future ideas for videocasts, I want to talk about how I came to mudding and then how I got on staff. I want to talk about the single influential character that I run, Alcyone, and I'll tell you some of her stories and where there are some of the Easter eggs in the game that talk about or that reference some of the older stories. I will talk about some of the very old days of the game when I first started playing. I will cast aspersions on Hallister, who tormented me early on when I was a player. I'm not going to air any dirty laundry probably, but hopefully I can tell you some interesting things that you haven't heard about before. And, you know, hopefully you are watching this because you're genuinely interested, and if you're expecting anything other than an utter geek out, it's time to click the play button and pause it right now. Otherwise, I'm going to presume that you are, like me, someone who has devoted a number of years to the game. I've been playing for 15 years, and I met my spouse through it, which is, I think, used to be Sally Jesse Raphael worthy. I think it's more common nowadays. I also met my best friend through the game. I've been greatly influenced by it. I don't even want to admit how much time I've thrown into the game over the years. It's just a shameful, scandalous amount, but hopefully you are someone else who has sat there for days logging in. Perhaps you were trying to assassinate somebody. Perhaps you were thrown in jail. Perhaps you were waiting to hook up with that Kirakio in order to get the spice that you desperately needed. Perhaps you needed to meet that mysterious sorcerer. But you felt that kind of weird, obsessive anticipation, that sense that if you don't log on, that those stories are going on right now and that you really do need to be there in order to help shape them. And I think that's one of the great draws of the game. That it is a textual world, but it's a storytelling world. It's a world where you are telling your character's story, or attempting to tell your character's story, because that story is not something that you have total control over. It may be influenced by the wants and desires of other players. It may be influenced by circumstances of the game's code, or it may even be influenced by events in the game. It's a struggle to tell a story. It's a real triumph when you bring a character from all the way through, from early adolescence to adulthood and then on into old age. It's a rare thing. And it's very cool. And there's a lot of stories. There's a lot of nifty stories. There's a lot of wonderful writing that has gone on over the course of the game, and it makes me just I'm just amazed that here's this kind of fabulous ephemeral thing, and it's flowing past us. The game's going on right now. So I'm going to end there. In the next videocast, I will talk about how I came on staff. Or actually, I'll talk about how I came to mudding and kind of my early history with the game, and how I was a very naughty player at first, and how various things were implemented, particularly because I had abused them, which is kind of very exciting, and it's one of the reasons why I have some amount of sympathy for players who get caught doing, something mildly naughty. I was never terrible, but I was mildly naughty on occasion. And so I have some sympathy for the occasional abuse. So I am going to end there. If you have ideas for the name of the videocast, topics of the videocast, or if you're interested in doing one of your own, again, email me. Let me know. And in the meantime, keep on playing.